I really appreciate everything I have, but there's some stuff about struggling and coming up that's when the magic was, because your dreams are so alive. Eventually, Tom and I loaded up his car again and went to California in June of 1981. I set about becoming an actor. We got out there and it was real hard for a long time. We got our first apartment on Motor Avenue. The street starts at 20th Century Fox and it ends at MGM, which was MGM at that time. Now it's Sony. And we thought that was a sign. We live on a street that's bookended by two of the biggest movie studios ever, you know? It wasn't a one-bedroom apartment. It was a one-room apartment. It was a converted motel. So it was just a room with a bed and a little desk and one of those little short refrigerators, you know, they're like you see in a trailer or something. And Tom, being the senior member of the duo, thought that it would be a better idea that he slept in the bed and I slept on the floor. Because we were creeped out sleeping in the same bed, right? We didn't have any money. We paid $90 a week. You paid by the week for this apartment. And I finally got this job. I saw a help wanted sign in the Shakey's Pizza Parlor, and I cleared $96 a week. So we had $6 left over after the rent. And we would buy a generic little bottle of rum at Lucky Supermarket and a box of powdered donuts every Friday. And the way we ate was they gave you a personal-sized pizza every day at Shakey's. That's what when you took your lunch break, you made your own pizza. That's what you got. Instead of making it for lunch, I waited until I got off that night, just before we turned the ovens off, and I would pile every ingredient on the small pizza and get home at like 1 in the morning or whatever. And I would wake Tom up. He would get up. So at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, we would eat this pizza. And that's what we ate for about a year, except for Fridays when we had a little rum and a powdered donut. We were in a constant fever of poverty and indecision and desperation, yet we weren't fazed by it. We just kept going because we'd never really had anything anyway. It wasn't like people always say, what kept you from just going back home? Well, there's nothing to go back to there. I worked at a sawmill, a machine shop, I hauled hay, I drove a truck, I worked on an asphalt crew as a carpenter's helper. I mean, it wasn't like I would be going back to something amazing. So we just stayed out there. It's like, I'd rather be homeless on the streets of LA than work at a sawmill, My advice to anybody who wants to do whatever it is with their life is don't ever let your dreams die, because that's what keeps an artist alive, and I think it keeps people in general going. Sometimes sitting on the floor on Motor Avenue having a powdered donut and a cup of rum seems like paradise.